What's up, survivors? How is everybody doing? So I wanted to bring you guys back, kind of show you guys a little bit of what I've been doing behind the scenes with a solo play that I've been doing. Ever since my wonderful first run, that if you guys watch or are watching it, the full season, I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but ever since my first playthrough, I've learned a lot. So I just want to show you guys how far I got. Now, in this playthrough, I did drop it down to hard mode to just kind of play a little bit more casually. Yes, I know, hard mode, playing casually. I see it as casual. It is casual. The mob waves feel very light. But anyways, I'm going to show you guys kind of what I've done so far and how far I've gotten. So, So this is my off playthrough that I've been doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm further ahead. I didn't do a manual save, so it's been a while. So yeah, I'll have to go to the last autosave. I must have forgot to do a manual save. Whoopsie. Oh well, it should only be like 5-10 minutes behind from where I was last at. I hope. It looks like everybody is alive. Ooh, it's loading. There we go. All right, so this is my, oh yeah, my game must have been playing on its own for a good while. That's a lot of dead bugs. They still haven't finished those turrets. So this is my offline playthrough where I've been practicing. As you can see, I am on the fall of year 5 already. So I've gotten better, but this is only on hard mode, not on very hard mode. I finally figured out, how to get turrets. I did a little bit of research and saw what some other people were doing. I also started noticing something that a lot of people don't do. A lot of people, they won't build like an actual gate here. They'll leave it open on purpose. Well, so I was doing that for a while too, but then I realized that you don't have to do that. You just need somebody near the front entrance. So as long as you have one person near the front entrance, they will still come to the front entrance, even if there's a gate here. So it can still leave the gate shut, which allows the ground units still they have to attack my wall, which means they still can't get in. So yeah, that's been happening. So I did that and that works. And recently, actually very recently, like as of I think last night or something, I started a secondary wall. Right here. So I got a secondary concrete wall going up right now. Right here that I had finished just last night around my farm. And yeah, this is my farm. Unfortunately, we had a very bad run-in with a group of scorpions because originally I didn't have a wall right here and around the farm. I had just a small fence like this. And we had a group of broodmother scorpions that came down this path, and they just started killing all my cattle. I actually lost all my dogs. I had a bunch of Dobermans. I think I had like 6 or 7 Dobermans. And the only one left is one of the puppies that grew up recently. So I have to go out and try to find a female Doberman now to get him a mate to breed with so I can breed up more dogs. They did really well. I think it was like 4 or 5 of the Dobermans took on a pack of about 20 brood mothers, and they managed to kill about 80% of them. They did really good. But unfortunately, in the harder difficulties, the dogs really don't serve a purpose. So I'm kind of like testing them. I'm also starting to realize that if you're going to use cattle and you're going to have dogs, the meat you get from the cattle, which by the way, they need to lower the poop frequency. This is ridiculous. I feel like I'm playing Ark. I feel like I'm playing Ark when I see all this poop. It's like there's like, I know I could turn that poop into gasoline though, but for some reason the option isn't, or maybe I just haven't noticed it. Wrong button. Oh, there it is. Manure. Okay, so maybe I can start doing the manure, because this would be a really good way to make gasoline over the other one. So like 500 gasoline, because that would help so much, because I've been having a hard time keeping up with gasoline because I've been burning through all my insect meat. By the way, this is my my freezer, by the way. I built a freezer, and this freezer is completely made out of concrete base with brick walls, and it has actually been really good at insulating. Like, even when I have a heat wave, it does really good at keeping the AC room from its temperature going up. So it's been really, really useful. But so yeah, they're working on a second wall right here. I need to change the circuit of this over to 1, so it turns off. I figured out how to do the circuit for the powers, for the lights and for the turret. So the lights turn off at night and only turn on during the day, or turn off during the day but turn on at night. So I finally figured out how to do that with the power grid. What else? I've alternated. At first I was using just the gun turrets, but I all started alternating between gun and lasers, because the lasers were really good at killing the flying targets, unlike the guns. Like, the guns were good at it though, but they took them longer to track, where the lasers were tracking the flyers faster. So that was really nice. So I did that, started alternating, and I stuck in 2 rocket turrets. But I might actually do a rocket turret base and set up more of these, because they are so useful. So yeah, there's that. I have another room out here because Jack actually sleeps out here. He has his own little cabin near the front entrance, because I use Jack as my kite, because I'll send him out here into this little bunker room that I have built out here, that I got this idea from somebody else that I was watching. I have a little bunker room out here, and I'll set him up right here with the pulse one, because he has the pulse rifle 2.0. And I'll set him up right here, and everything will just kite to the front entrance and come straight for him, because he's the closest here. Now, sometimes the stuff in the back will try to attack the back, which is one of the reasons why I'm setting this up. But on hard mode, I've realized that I really don't need a whole lot of defenses. It's been fairly calm, although I kind of overkilled it on the electric furnaces. Those things eat up a ton of power. This is my humble abode that we have here, so you can see kind of what I've done. I've actually built onto it multiple times, because originally it started out as, find my button here, it started out as this room right here. So I had the 6 bedrooms, and then I had my crafting and storage. I had my storage on the side and my crafting in the middle, and this was where we were. Then I extended that outwards and made a kitchen and an entertainment room. So I had my kitchen and entertainment room. So I was able to move my entertainment and my kitchen stuff out of here into their own rooms. And then from there, I built a small freezer that was about this big. So I had a section to put all my freezer stuff. So then that happened. Recently, I upgraded it to twice the length. And then I ended up building an add-on next to the entertainment room to over here, so I had a overflow my crafting room, basically. So I have where all my crafting supplies are, all my medical supplies, you know, stuff like that, you know, energy crystals, gasoline, circuitry, all my ores and platinums, all my benches. And then I had my overflow resources for my things just outside the door, so they'd come out here. They have a small stockpile here if they need it. So they would walk out here, grab what they need if it's close by, and then go back in. But if, like, so there's always a small stack of wood, small stack of carbon, you know, just the basics they would need for day-to-day crafting from the actual stockpile, and anything that was overflow came out here. So, you know, I've got my carbon up here, I've got my wood pile here, my stone, brick, cement, I've got my fiber here, my sticks, and, you know, other things. I mean, you guys all know how it works by now. And then I've got my freezer room, which is just jam-packed with all kinds of stuff. Like I said, I recently doubled it in size, I think just within the last day or two. But then what I also did is I turned my old entertainment room, I put entertainment back in here, and then I moved the batteries to here, so I have my battery room. So I have 28,000 battery energy. And then at nighttime, it drains barely even like 30% of it at nighttime, as long as all the turrets are off. And then my lights turn on at nighttime. So as you can see, all my outside lights, so in case we ever get attacked at night, they don't miss as much. And my farm, yes, it is connected to the main power to the house, but the farm does have its own power. It has its own solar power because I was testing out the... Okay, so here's my thought on the greenhouse stuff, the hydroponic racks. Useless. And I say it's useless because this would be more useful if we had a moon that was mostly like a winter, like an ice moon, like a winter moon, where it was like winter was like basically the length of like winter, spring, and maybe a little bit into summer. And basically spring, summer, and fall were like 30-40% of the year. You had like a very short, like 30% of the year, you had a very short spring, summer, fall cycle. And then right away it would jump into, you know, winter, and winter was like 60 or 70% of the time of the year. This would be more useful. Outside of that, I only see it as a aesthetic. Like for show. I mean, winter literally, like if you build a big enough farm, you should be able to supply yourself. Winter's so short that you can supply yourself with everything you need before winter ends. And I could have sworn I had that queued up for demolish. But yeah, I feel like I've gotten better. Now this is only on hard mode, of course, and I've been doing really well. Like defense wise, nothing's ever breached my front gate other than the flyers. We're not going to count the flyers because they just fly over your walls. But I've had a couple of close calls with the flyers where people didn't get inside of the shelters fast enough. They got caught out in the open and they did almost die, or they did die. So I just loaded from the last save and made sure that they were in time, because why not? It's not like I'm playing a YOLO type playthrough. But yeah, this is my place so far. I've got a freezer for food. I got to get rid of all of this. I got to figure out what I'm doing with these emergency food. It's starting to take up space there. And then go from there. But I will tell you something that was a pain in the rear end to figure out. Setting up this, the thermostat. Setting this up so that my heaters would kick in for wintertime without me having to manually do it. Now, I do have to manually do the windows, which seems counterproductive. It's like, well, you got to manually do the windows, just manually do the thermos. True, but whatever. It's like, it's one less thing I have to worry about, because honestly I keep forgetting to turn the heat on. So it kicks in when it drops below 30 degrees. It'll kick in and warm up the bedrooms at least, so they're not cold, and the kitchen area. So I think there's one, yeah, there's one in the kitchen as well. But all of these barrels, some of them make gasoline, some of them make pickled vegetables, some of them make all of that and beer. I think some of them make all of that in wine. And then I've got moonshine over here being made. And then, of course, as you can see, I've got one stack for wine, one stack for moonshine, and the bottom one's room for something else. Over here, I've got coffee, tea, beer, and then they have all their foods in here, as well as any pickled vegetables. Actually, they should be making some more pickled vegetables soon. And then, of course, like I said, I've got all my grains, my berries, my melons, more berries, more grain, my poop. Keep my poop in the freezer so it don't go bad. Starting to regret doing that because honestly, there's so much poop out there. Like, there's 1,200 poop in here. There's 1,200 poop on this one rack. And this is the only spot it can be, is on these 4 racks. Which is weird because that's not 1,200. Oh wait, yeah it is. 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, it is. I'm just an idiot. And then I've got my meat and whatnot. So this is all frozen, so it never spoils unless the temperature goes above 32 degrees, which is only done a couple of times. Like back in the beginning, before I researched the solar flare technology, that's when it was having issues, and when the freezer went down, I did have a bunch of meat spoil back then. But yeah, but see, here's the thing. I've learned something. Now, having the animals for poop and meat and stuff like that is really good. You can hunt the wild animals around your place much quicker than you could doing it this way. But having the poop for gasoline is so beneficial. Like if you have access to berries and you can tame like 4 of these guys in the very beginning, like, 2 males and 2 females in the very beginning of the game, and you can keep them protected, you will basically have lots of gasoline, or like, so like, you know how they have that, what is it, that insect bug fermentation thing where you can put their bug parts in here, right here, to make gasoline? This becomes pointless. You don't need this at the start of a playthrough anymore. Like, I actually didn't even have it at the start of this playthrough. I just recently learned it, I think on year 4, as when I discovered it when I went out, and I think it was a tachyon source or something that I discovered, and it taught me how to do this. And I'm like, why bother? Because I have all this poop, I can just turn poop. Now, granted, this is more casual, but I can just come over here and craft poop to make gasoline. And again, the bugs, like, you got the oils. I can save on oils, which means I can save on bug parts, which means I don't have to harvest bugs as often, which means I can slaughter my cows for meat. And I don't know, it just adds a whole nother type of playthrough. Like, you can role play where, you know, you don't use bug parts. That would be cool. That sounds like an interesting playthrough. There's an idea. No using bug parts. Oh. Like, you can't use bugs for meat, for oils, for gas, none of it. Like, you have to do all other ways to get your meat, your gas, and your oil for food. Then again, you know, the only people that are a pain in the butt to feed for are your, what are they called? Your vegetarians. But yeah, so the people I started with were the same people I think I started with in my actual first playthrough. And then these 3 people, I think I found him, he found me, and she found me so far. We're on year 5. We haven't gotten our 8th person yet. It pretty much stopped at 7. But yeah, we're working on building up our next wall right here. Our next defense. I think the 4 turrets over here should be more than enough. I've got my solar panel field. This is the best I can do right now, which is the improved solar panel. I think I finished all of my... almost all. I'm still in the process of finishing carbon armor, laser pistol, and the chow root, because I found a chow root out on one of my explorations. But there's still more stuff to learn. I just haven't found it yet or discovered it and stuff like that. I do want to set up a couple of turrets on the back wall, and possibly set up some turrets right here as well. I've noticed that usually 2 lasers and 2 gun turrets are more than enough to deal with most enemies for the most part. But yeah, it hasn't been too bad. Like, it's been fairly easy to defend. I haven't had much issue. I do kind of regret not setting up the landing spot and the orbital stuff for the trade, because I could have started selling things to do whatever, because I guess you can do this, and I haven't done this yet. I have to build an actual spot for this. I will do that eventually, though. But I'm getting better at the game. I'm learning a little bit more of how things work. I've learned a lot about managing this stuff right here. As you can see, I've pretty much left them on handling and delivery full time unless I need them to do something specific, but it's been working out really well. So I haven't had too many issues. The only problem I had recently was I had ranching at like 3 for her. And when I did that, she basically stopped feeding the cattle. And I actually had about 5 times this many. I think I had close to about 40 cattle. And about 10 of them raged on me out of starvation because I just wasn't paying attention to them because I thought she was still feeding them. And she wasn't. Keeping up on the hay has been a pain because I wasn't used to doing that, and I had to start doing that, and I kept forgetting about it. So I had to start I think every other year I had to do like 1 session of hay, or I had to come over here and farm what was left here around this lake. But and then I've got my tree farm back here that's 2,500 wood. So if I ever need wood, it's usually ready by late summer. So I can do that. I've been doing pretty well on scavenging. And here's the thing, like, you see all these ship parts that have all around here that look like they haven't been scavenged because they're popping up. These are all new ones. Like, they are coming down faster than Sonia can farm them. Because I have her doing other things too. So like I think I've scavenged all of these ship parts probably 2 times over, and they just keep falling. However, the only thing that's that sucks a little bit is I haven't discovered how to do the mechs yet. Like I haven't found the technology for those yet. And I know you can get them in a normal playthrough because I've gotten them in a different playthrough that I was doing. I didn't make it nearly as far though, but I got them by like year 2. I discovered the mech cores when I was scavenging ship parts. But this playthrough, I haven't discovered the mech cores yet, and I'm already coming up on the end of year 5. So that kind of sucks. But, you know, it is what it is. I have 2 balloons. Originally I was doing 1, but I decided to do 2 because Quinn doesn't have good physique. So, well, in the beginning he didn't, but lately I've been having him do a lot of mining to help build up his physique a little bit. Because if I send him out on a mission, I want him to be able to come back with a lot of scrap and a lot of material. And he was coming back with less than like Sonia and Jack were, because they had like 7 and 8 back at the time I was doing that. And I was basically bouncing between sending Sonia and Jack out based off of which one had the better, you know, who had the most of their stuff up basically. So that's what I've been doing. Sadly, nobody's hooked up yet. 5 years in. This is the closest I've gotten, was this. At one point, her and Quinn were both interested in each other. They were like 35, 40, but slowly over the and that was like by year 2. But slowly over the last 2 years, they've been losing interest in each other. However, Jack and, God, what is her name? Laura have been coming like really close. Like he's interested with a 63. And she's not interested, but she's a 32, and it's only been going up recently. So there's a chance that Jack and Laura could hook up. We have our first snowflakes going into... Well, also, I am playing on hard chaos mode, by the way. So we are at the chaos moon. I did do a little research into that. Apparently, the moon does affect the difficulty. Like, it's not just for show. It really does affect it. So, like, if you... Chaos moon actually does affect the type of creatures and the amount of creatures as well. At least from what I've read and what I've been told by a few other people that I've kind of messaged and talked to about it. Because I want to try to learn a little bit more so I can do a little bit better. But yeah, it's getting there. It looks like this thing's malfunctioning or broken. Yeah, because it's not on. But yeah, I've been getting there. So I just wanted to show you guys a little sneak peek of my solo behind the plays. I think I've been doing this for about a week now. Ever since the end of my... I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but ever since the end of my season 1 first playthrough, I definitely needed to practice a little more. So I dropped it down to 1 difficulty to hard mode from very hard mode. And I got in a little bit more practice. Oh, I have a newborn. We had a baby born. So it is eating away. Yeah, it looks like... between 100 and 150 is the most I get off of hay. Like sometimes I get 150, sometimes I get 100. Wow, these are all newborns. Wow, these are all... Wow, I lost all my adults. Yeah, they, by the way, there was an attack before this one that must have happened when I was AFK, because these guys weren't here. It was the scorpions. And then I had like 3 hungry pests, the beetles. I had 300 of them trying to get into my farm before this wall was finished, and that's kind of when I went AFK. Looks like she's training our last Doberman. All the other ones were like level 8 and level 9. They did really good though. Like 5 Dobermans took on over 20 brood mothers, and I ended up killing about 16 of them. So that wasn't too bad. Actually, the funny thing is they killed them all, but 3 out of those 5 Dobermans were still alive. They were just down and wounded, but there was no way I could save them. They were too far gone. They were already below like 20% on HP, and they were bleeding out too fast. There was no saving them. But yeah, this is my solo play behind the scenes, guys. I would probably do something a little bit different on my next playthrough that I do. Now that I know what I'm doing. I would also... What am I doing? Clicking on the wrong button. I would also do things a little differently. Oh, and I feel freaking stupid, by the way, guys. So it took me until year 5. So you guys know how I have energy crystals? I didn't get those until just this year because I didn't know how to find energy crystals. And I'm like, how do you get energy crystals? So I held off on like the research for the energy crystal, for what was it? The energy cores, energy crystals, or whatever it was in the research thing, how to make them. And because I didn't know where to find energy crystals, I didn't realize that you learn how to plant the material when you researched it. I felt so stupid. I could have done that in year 1, year 2 at the latest. So I just recently started getting the energy crystals. So yeah, that made me feel stupid. Quinn's level 7 now. Nice. So yeah, that was fun. But yeah, it's been going pretty good. I think now I could definitely do a very hard playthrough. Maybe another tachyon source. Ooh. Or is that a second one that I haven't researched? One tachyon source. 2 tachyon. Oh yeah, I have 2 tachyon sources now. Oh, then there's the burning cruise vessel that I never went out and did. Let me go do that real quick before it disappears. And then ore deposit. Let me send Sonia out to do that. But yeah, anyways guys, all right, I'm gonna let you guys go. This was just meant to be like a quick behind the scenes. I just wanted to show you guys that I'm learning, I'm figuring things out. I wanna get my secondary wall, my little defensive extra secondary wall up here soon. So I can get that going and then go from there. But I am definitely looking forward. I definitely have some more ideas. I'm excited to try to do another playthrough. I have some ideas for some more custom style playthroughs that I would like to do. I do want to do the other missions. I've been told that the military one is a lot tougher. Just because the attacks are more brutal and they're a lot bigger. So I'm curious to see what that's all about. But anyways, guys, take care as always. And I will see you guys in the official gameplay. Just a little behind the scenes here of one of my solo modes that I'm doing. Just getting some practice in. It's coming along. It's coming along. Definitely could do better with my layout. But all right, guys. You guys take care, and I'll see you later.